All right, perfect. So we'll move on to the offense. We can start with the O line.
Oh,
We'll go Snake here. You could go here
I'm gonna
first.
go. I'm gonna go C minus, Sage.
Yeah, same here. I have C minus written
I'm gonna
down as
go
well.
C minus because it's hard to go any lower than C minus when you got Trent Williams out there, right? I mean, we
Yeah,
could kind of just
exactly.
ignore the Trent factor, but we can't. So Trent is still an elite left tackle. Did he take a little bit of a step down? Yes. Was this due to the fact that he's been coming off 3 straight years with long playoff runs and he held out at the beginning of the year? I think so. We know that he left with that high ankle sprain. But the rest of the line, except for Dominic Pooney, who I think was probably the biggest surprise of the year, Sage. Dominic Pooney is a
Yeah,
legit Pro Bowl level guard, and that's something that the 49ers needed. You got to hit on your draft picks. He's a third rounder. Very happy with Dominic Pooney and Trent Williams moving forward. But Sage, Jake Brendel, Cole McKivitz, who's now injured, and Aaron Banks, not only are they not that great in run blocking, which you saw in the fact that this 49ers run zone scheme is not the same as it used to be. They're 10 times worse in pass protection. I mean, Jake Brendel, the way that this guy gets spinned around, Cole McKivitz on the right side when they put a legit pass rush on him, it's ugly. Brock Purdy's been having a run for his life the entire year. That's, other than the D-line, I think this is the next biggest thing that they got to build up. So you got a couple studs, but it's a C minus because you got 3 different positions on that line that I want to replace next year. So C minus.
same here. I mean, it's very similar, right, to the D line, right? Where it's like, how could I give them lower than C minus when they have Nick Bosa? How could I give them lower than a C minus when they have Trent Williams? Clearly a neglected spot on the team. We said it. We're going to say it. Every Niners fan, every Niners content creator is going to say it. Build the trenches up. Build the trenches up. We like what we see with the receivers. We like what we see with the running backs. Got to build the trenches up. I mean, it was poor this year. You saw what it came down to once you got injured. The backups, turns out they probably shouldn't even be rostered in the NFL. Some of your starters shouldn't be rostered in the NFL. You see a guy like McGlinchey over in Denver having a pretty good year, a decent year.
Mike McGlinchey is not any good. Let's stop that right now.
Is he
We've
better
seen
than
him. We know
McKivitz?
what he
Is he
is.
better than McKivitz?
What are we really comparing there? What is Cole
Okay, thank
McKivitz?
you.
Cole McKivitz ain't
You
any
had him.
good.
You had him, bro. You
But
had
do
a
you want to
stud.
pay McGlinchey $20
That's
million a
yeah,
year? That's
yeah,
the thing.
100%.
That's
Yeah.
the catch. Here's the catch.
So you got to invest in it a bit. It seems like they don't want to invest in that O line this offseason. It's got to change. Your quarterback Purdy, his third injury suffered in his career. I mean, 3 years in the NFL, he's already suffering his third injury. Not too significant, but he's getting dinged. You got to protect him. It starts with the O line, opens up everything. It'll cure the run game. Obviously, it'll cure the pass game. Protect your quarterback, but C minus for the performance this year. I'm just happy that no one got killed behind that O
If
line.
Jimmy G was quarterback this year, he looked like
It'd be
Christopher.
awful.
He looked
Yeah,
like Christopher Reeve right now. He'd literally be. I'm just saying, he'd be Christopher Reeve. Like Jimmy G
yeah,
would be paralyzed if he was the quarterback this year.
yeah.
Brock
You want
Purdy
to
being mobile is the only thing that saved the season. And this offense, like, did you see that they were ranked 5th overall? They showed the rankings of the offense at the
It's
start of the game.
bullshit. It's bullshit.
49ers are ranked 5th overall. Like, they can still move the ball. I think that's due in part because
Oh,
Brock Purdy moving around in the pocket, being able to extend plays with his legs. Him being able to do that is what helped you get there. But this O-line did not help out anybody, man.
for
They
the
really
Kirk
didn't.
Cousins crowd, imagine Kirk Cousins behind this O line. He's dead. He ain't making it to week 4 behind this O line. Like, thank God Purdy has legs. So I think we got to waste too much breath on the O line. We'll go with the running backs next.
Okay, so do you want me to go or you?
I can go here.
Yeah, go ahead. Dive in, bro.
Okay, I'm gonna go B plus. Weirdly, I think it's a B plus. I think for what you had, right? You have Christian McCaffrey, who coming off last year, I think 31 out of 32 GMs, maybe 32 out of 32, would say this guy's the best running back in the league. He goes down. So what do? You have to go to your second best guy, Jordan Mason, leading the league in rushing yards. Looks great. Looks like he could be an RB1 in maybe 20 out of the 32 places in the NFL. I think that there's a lot of teams who would trade their starting running back at the beginning of the year for what Jordan Mason was looking like. He looked great. He goes down. You have Garendo as the third string running back. He looked great. Like, there's not many teams who are 3 deep like that. McCaffrey,
Great.
I'm saying as a third string running back. right? I mean, look at the Lions when they threw Craig Reynolds out there behind that O-line. He didn't
Who's
look
that
good.
motherfucker they were rolling out? He's like Monty Montgomery. Hold on.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
I was like, who is this fucking guy?
and then he gets hurt. And then Patrick Taylor Jr. today is like ripping off some decent runs. So for what was at hand, like if we had McCaffrey, it's obviously a little bit different because you get this type of production from McCaffrey. You're maybe a little disappointed, but for what you had out there, I feel like everyone performed or outperformed what the expectations were. If that's fair to say. I mean, you lose Elijah Mitchell. You get basically 2.5 games out of McCaffrey. McCaffrey in that Buffalo game looked decent. Jordan Mason, when he was healthy, looked like a B to A level running back. So I can't fault the running backs too. And as we just mentioned, they weren't getting much support from this O-line. It's not like they're running behind the Philly O-line here, the Lions O-line. It's a good scheme, but that's about it. So I'm going to give the running backs a B+. I think that it was a serviceable enough unit to if they wanted to win.
Sage, put it up. We got our first day of the day. I'm going A-.
Okay.
I'm going A- for the running backs because when I look at it, like you said, Isaac Guerrero did his part. I mean, he's a rookie coming in as a 4th-string running back. He's literally the 4th-string running back coming into this year. So the level of expectations for Guerrero is not high. He had a couple big splash plays. He's your boy. I know you love him. So he did impress me. Sucks right now that he probably tore his ACL and he's going to be out all of next year too. But Christian
Hopefully
McCaffrey.
not. Yeah, we got to look into that. Sorry,
Christian McCaffrey clearly did not look like himself, but the fact that he was able to try to get in there, tried his hardest to play for the 49ers, try to lead them to a playoff push, I respect that. McCaffrey's a warrior, but this A- is really going to come in for Jordan Mason. I thought Jordan Mason was great all year when he was healthy. Really?
It's an MCL. It's an MCL for Guerrero.
Is it confirmed already?
Confirmed. They're running. Oh, that's what the initial fear is. They're saying his ACL is intact, but it's an MCL, and they're running an MRI.
Damn.
But heard it here first.
But Jordan Mason was a stud all year, Sage. Like we said, he got himself a contract. He's going to be a starting running back on some team in the NFL next year. Clearly, running through the tackles is a great, actually
100%.
skilled running back. Like the way that he jumps, cuts, and everything. I was really impressed by him. A lot of people coming in the year said, hey, you got to give Jordan Mason some run. I know that you have Christian McCaffrey, but you got to utilize this guy a little bit. You drafted him. He's showing that he's really good. Like, he's actually a serviceable running back. He proved that in spades. Like you said, I think he was, top 2 in rushing yards in the league before he got injured?
I think behind just Derrick Henry, and then Saquon just jumped everyone.
So, just the next man up mentality from this running back room, getting cratered with injuries throughout. I got to give them credit. They were always able to be serviceable. Christian McCaffrey's a dog. He's going to come back stronger than ever. I wish luck to Jordan Mason wherever he goes. Hope Isaac Guerrero has a speedy recovery, but I'm going to give him an A- stage. I don't know how you could dog the running back room or blame them for anything that happened this year at all.
100%. I think we could speed through this next one. A+. George Kittle, that's all I need. A+. All pro, best tight end in the league this year. Love this guy. His play continues to age like fine wine. When he's out there, he's the best player. I said he's kind of like Klay Thompson, right? With those stacked Warriors teams. When we had talent, right? You had Debo in his prime. You had CMC. He could block. He could kind of form into the offense however you need him to, right? Like Klay, he could defend. He could shoot threes. When you need him to be your leading scorer, he could be your leading scorer. Kittle does it all. He does it all at an elite level. I love George Kittle. I never want to get rid of George Kittle. Best Niner tight end of my lifetime. So A+ for Kittle. Arguably his best season of his career.
We put him over VD.
I am.
And by that, I don't mean venereal disease. I mean Vernon Davis.
Great one, Chase.
No, I'm just.
The thing is, VD came up in the biggest of games, so that's where I got to give him some love.
It always comes up in the biggest of games.
So no. I'm gonna give Kittle an A+. I don't think you'll argue there.
Okay, 76 catches, 1,079 yards, 8 touchdowns. Was he the number 1 receiver in fantasy? I think it was maybe Brock Bowers, but
yeah,
George
Bowers
Kittle,
was one.
Career year. I think this is the year where everybody really started to give George Kittle his flowers.
Yeah.
You saw Kelsey take the downturn, right? So everybody's now saying it, that George Kittle's the best tight end in football. Not only, Sage, what he does on the field, you know that in the locker room he's a key piece of the positivity going around. George Kittle is never going to dog on anybody in a press conference. He's always going to try to lift everybody
up Jake Moody.
He's a ray of sunlight, man. I mean, George Kittle is just such a breath of fresh air. Sage, he won the media award, so the media said that he was their favorite player to talk to the entire year. I mean, he's the best, man. Like I said, he's rising up the ranks of my all-time favorite 49ers. He's a stud. Pass catching, he's an animal. He blocks better than any tight end in the NFL. You can't say much more about George Kittle. But Sage, I'm gonna go only an A. I'm not gonna go A plus because
Okay,
Eric Saubert.
get the fuck, dude. Who cares?
No,
about
but like
Eric
you gotta Eric Saubert. Never in my life has anybody done less to piss me off more than him. I mean, in a couple games where he came in for George Kittle, holding, illegal formations, dropping balls, running routes, slipping, and then it leads to interception. I hope Eric Saubert's nowhere near this team. I'm still going to give them an A. George Kittle deserves an A.
Bring back Ross Dwelly.
No A plus because, hey, it's a tight end room and Eric Saubert's in it, so you can't get an A plus. I'm sorry.
All right, Chase. Wide receivers. Want me to go first here or you?
I'm going to go. And Juwan Jennings is the only reason that this isn't in the D's. So I'm going to go with a C minus.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a C minus. Brandon Ayuk was the entire offseason bitching, moaning, making sure that he got his contract. Well, you got it. And you looked like shit. You looked like shit all year. Obviously, it sucks that he tore his ACL. I wish him a speedy recovery, not only for his livelihood, but like we need him. Like the 49ers need him next year.
We don't
Healthy.
need this Ayuk. We need last year's Ayuk.
But if we're going to get back to the Super Bowl, we need Brandon Ayuk to be the Brandon Ayuk that he was. But he was not all year. Deebo Samuel, I lost all my love for you. You're clearly not the same guy. You lost a step. But the Jake Moody situation, the Rams game, where I think everything kind of really came to fruition. You're like, okay, Deebo Samuel is just becoming such a major issue. Bitches before the game that he's not getting the ball on Twitter. Drops potentially the game-winning touchdown on that slant route. It's been a tough year for Deebo. Cleats and Convo, maybe the worst content that's been put out the entire year. I mean, whoever is his agent,
it's between that and the Hawk Tua.
Yeah, I'd probably give the nod to Hawk Tua. I swear to God, I'd rather listen to the Hawk Tua podcast listener talk about how she's sucking off dudes than Deebo Samuel with one-word answers talking about how they're getting geared up to go on and take on the Patriots. I swear to God, it's disgusting. His play on the field was disgusting. Like I said, and then Ricky Pearsall, tough because he got shot. Sage, how about that celebration today where he acted like he got shot?
Yeah.
And then did the dance. I love what I've been seeing out of Ricky Pearsall, but throughout the entire year, you got to say that it was a little bit disappointing. I do have some faith now from what I've seen over the past two games, but if we're doing 2024 season report cards, we got to grade on the entire year. Juwan Jennings is a dog. We signed him to a good deal. Like we said, he is exactly what you want out of a football player on your own team. I love Juwan Jennings. He's the only reason they're at a C minus. If it was not for him, probably a D.
So I'm going D plus because the guys making the money were what let you down. I don't think it's possible for Juwan Jennings to carry or improve on how big of a disappointment Ayuk and Deebo were when they're making that much money, when they're supposed to be your guys, they're supposed to be carrying you. As we said, Ayuk, prayers up, speedy recovery, brother. You were terrible when you were on the field. You were terrible. You were clearly the wide receiver 3. And if Ricky Pearsall didn't get shot, you might have been the wide receiver 4 when you were out there because Juwan took that step. Ricky Pearsall, right? When he's getting his minutes, he's getting his time as they're giving him the ball. He looks great. He looked good week 18. He looked good week 17. They just got to feature him more in the offense. Giving him his shine. Let Ricky Pearsall eat. He was your first round pick. Like you said, though, he was your first round pick. You had needs all along the offense, all along the defense that weren't receiver. You needed a D-line. You needed an O-line. You spend your first round pick on a receiver and then pay Brandon Ayuk. So to be fair, Ricky Pearsall, I love what I saw these last 2 weeks. It was kind of a disappointment for a first round pick. Ayuk was a huge disappointment. Deebo, probably the quickest fall off I've ever seen. He looked fine last year. He had a great year last year. This year, it's not like he was hurt. He said he wasn't getting the ball. Bullshit. He just wasn't himself. Clearly changing his number, deleted all his aura, deleted all his skill. And Juwan Jennings was the one bright spot, but he was injured. He didn't play the whole year. When he was out there, he was fine. When he wasn't getting ejected, he was a dog, blocking defenders into the cameras, finishing every play. Dog. So it's got to be a D plus for me because it was kind of disappointing, to say the least.
You're a tough grader, man. Jesus, fuck.
No need to evaluate the quarterbacks. We could just do the quarterback with Brock Purdy.
We don't want to do the quarterback rule. We don't want to bring in Josh Dobbs and Brandon Allen.
No.
Okay, but I'll go ahead.
To be fair, I think they'd weigh him up. I'm kidding.
Yeah, please Please stop that shit.
Oh,
right
wait,
now.
we forgot to do
Stop that
fullback.
shit right now, Sage. If we're gonna be doing this in 2025, you gotta stop that shit right now. Don't
All
you
right,
dare.
we forgot to do fullbacks.
Oh Jesus.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Okay. Let's not
Let's go
do
C.
that.
C.
But so for Brock Purdy, Sage, I'm gonna go with the C. I'm gonna go right down the middle. 3,900 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 picks. Also did have 5 rushing touchdowns, 300 rushing yards. Clearly,
Those aren't tush pushes.
those aren't tush pushes, but this was a tough year for Brock. But in all honesty, when we look at Brock Purdy's performance, everything was falling to pieces around him, Sage. I mean, Kyle Shanahan did not have a good year calling plays. The offensive line was a complete mess. He was running for his life the entire time. Brandon Ayuk goes down. Deebo Samuel misses some time. Christian McCaffrey's out most of the year. Trent Williams is out for the last 5 games of the year. Just the entire offense went downhill. I still thought that Brock played pretty solid. I mean, at the start of the year, Sage, I was saying that was the best football that Brock Purdy's been playing his entire career, but it started to tail off at the end of the year. We saw at the end of these games the past couple of weeks that he's been having that big interception that's kind of lost in the game. So even though I've seen bright spots from Brock, I still think that he's going to be the quarterback of the future for the 49ers. You want to see some of that stuff change at the end of the game situations. The bad weather is a concern, and I honestly don't think it's ever going to go away. So it's weird because I almost don't hold it against Brock, which I completely should. So it's weird. It's hard to assess Brock because of everything that happened around him. Clearly, what we saw last year when everything was going well, he played great. Not so much this year. So I'm just going to have to go ahead and give him a C, Sage.
I'm right below you. I got a C minus. It's kind of like we said. The team was terrible. The team around him was falling apart. The bad weather thing was a major concern. There was a lot of opportunity this year with it. We saw him throw in the heat. It wasn't good. We saw him throw in the rain. It wasn't good. We saw him
is this heat game going to be something that we always bring up? I mean, maybe he missed a couple throws.
Because it's just odd that you can't throw in the heat. I just think it's strange.
It was just a couple throws in one game, though.
You just said that, who was it? Trey Lance had the worst throw you've ever seen. I can talk in hyperbole too here, right? Like I can say that it's a concern.
Look at that. All right, chat, bring up that Trey Lance throw. Send us a video. It was fucking terrible.
But yeah, like you said, he didn't have much to work with, but we saw it last year. He looked so good last year. He was an MVP finalist last year. Damn near should have won it if he doesn't have that debacle on Christmas. Probably could have won the MVP, went to the Super Bowl. It wasn't good this year. Say what you want, it wasn't good. The late game stuff wasn't good. With the lead, it's not good in the fourth quarter. Trailing in the fourth quarter, it's not good. He's got to be better there. We said it. Juwan Jennings, fine receiver. George Kittle, probably the best tight end in the league. Ricky Pearsall was fine. He still had Deebo Samuel. The receivers around him weren't awful. He's not Drake May out there throwing to Boutte and Kendrick Bourne. Like, he had a fine enough receiving core, and we gave the running back room an A. So it's not like it was total shit. The O-line obviously could have been better, but what I saw from his legs was impressive. Some of the passing stuff was a bit concerning compared to last year. I thought he wasn't getting it out quick enough. Maybe, just a slump, people figuring him out. We'll see how he adjusts, but I got to go C- because I had high expectations for Brock.
That's fair. I'll give you that, Sage. C- is fair for Brock this year.
All right. This